Hello there guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. In this episode we're going to continue working on the lights and hopefully get time to move on to the spoilers there. In the last episode we worked on the surround here and we merged the whole kind of mesh together and such. What I'm going to do first is let's just fine tune a little bit here. In between episodes, like I said, I went through here and had a go at centering all the vertices. Didn't look like I did a very good job because we have a few up here that need to be done, but I'll do those at some point if I can manage to stop myself from doing it just now. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to completely separate this kind of tail lights around, similar to how we've got independent units at the front here. So I'm going to grab our faces. We did make this kind of extra section here. So I'm going to click on one here. I'm going to hold down shift and double click, and that'll select all those faces, and I'm going to hit delete. So that means now that all the way around here we have a gap in the middle there, because obviously these are an independent unit from those. I'm going to select it and I'm going to hit mesh and separate. So that means now I've got my large base mesh for the body and I've got my lights in the middle section here. What that will allow me to do, will allow me to select some of these vertices a little bit more. This is something we would have done a little later on, but we might as well just do it just now. Let's jump into my back view. So we can see here that this is all tail light. So if I compare this to my view that we have here, we can see that in the center here, this is the white reverse lights, I would assume. After that, we have like a plastic grey shroud that goes around. And then here we have our red lights, our main red lights. So it means that our actual background here is going to want to be sitting on this darker line here. So that's what we're going to do just now. So white, plastic, red, so that means that these sections as well are going to be wanting to sit up here. So let's think about this corner first, and let's select all of these and let's bring them up here, something like that. Let's do the same with these lower ones. Maybe easier just to grab the edges. Grab each of those, bring those in too. We can maybe put a bit more space in between these as well. Maybe something like that. So we've got a little bit more of a stretch in there, which is fine. Let's pull these down as well. So I'm just selecting each of the edges in here. Hopefully you can see that okay. I'm using the edges because I'm hoping that it'll select them a little bit easier. It looks like from in the last episode when we extruded, we don't need these inner faces just now. So I'm going to ditch those because they're just going to be making life a little bit more awkward for us. Let's grab our edges again. Okay. So we do have a little bit of a kind of slope droop to the corner here. And then that should be okay. Okay, so we've just moved all those around to kind of match. One thing that it looks like on those that runs around here, it does look like with these edges, we actually want these ones to come forward as well. Pull those out there. And then maybe the same for these two. something like that. Okay. I think that's looking okay. It's really hard to tell from these blueprints, but I think that's looking okay. I'm not really happy with how far out these maybe are. Let's actually take those sections back in. I think they're actually better being in the way like that rather than sticking out. I think that looks okay. Take those in too. I'm just trying to make sure as well that these are nice and round, kind of maintaining the curvature. Something like that. Okay, so I think that'll do for now. Again, we're not really at the stage of making major details, so I think that'll be okay just here. What we'll do next is let's have a think about the spoiler at the back here. So like I said, we do have a reverse camera in there. It's very much like a duckbill spoiler. It's not the largest that comes up here. So what we'll maybe do is let's think about the rear of the spoiler first. Let's see. Looks like it's going to sit just in front of what we have there. So we can maybe have it just intersecting the geometry a little bit. Maybe it's not going to be a massive deal. So let's start with a cylinder. So we'll start with the cylinder here. And I'm going to rotate this around here. It looks like 90 degrees should be fine. I'm going to reduce the amount of subdivisions. Let's think maybe 8 should be fine. And then I'm going to scale this down nice and small. Now again, I don't think it's actually on the blueprints. Yeah, so we can see that there's no camera here, so let's just eyeball this roughly where it should go. Maybe something like that. Okay, that looks like it should be okay. I'm going to ditch the extra faces on that. We're just going to work with what we have here. So I'm going to grab all of these edges. I'm going to hit Control E and let's just extrude out what we have. Now let's go in here. I'm going to grab all of those top parts of the extrusion and straighten those off. I'm going to grab all these lower parts as well. So we're maintaining that cylinder inside there. Let's grab these side portions. On the side too. So starting off here with a shape that looks something like that. We've got our camera in the middle, but now we've got some basic geometry within this square here that we can use to actually plot the spoiler. So in our rear view, I'm going to pull these up here to the top of the spoiler, which I think is about there, because it does have a little bit of a dip in the center. And then this here, looks like it's practically at the bottom just there anyway. So something like that. Oh, looks like I've accidentally pulled that button here. Maybe, I think this is a bit more central, So let's put that about there. Looks like it's pretty central in that height. Let's delete half of this, because we'll be able to mirror the rest. And I'm going to grab these two and we'll hit Control E. And I'll move out here until the point where the spoiler starts to move up. I'm not too fussed if it's aligning in our side view just yet. I just want to make sure we're looking good up here. Let's grab just what we have here and isolate the selection, just so we can see that the spoiler is here. And it looks like it tucks in off the hood, off the boot lid, sorry, ever so slightly. I think we do need to drop another edge around there. Let's just do that first real quick. I'm going to insert an edge loop in the center here. And it does look like it's got some curvature to it. Something like that. Okay. Down here, obviously that's not, it's going to still think we have a vertex there. So we can delete that, and then let's just finish this line off. Maybe just pull this ever so slightly. Okay, back to spoiler. So we'll pull out there. That looks like it's about the point where it goes up the way, like so. Let's go again with our edge. I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to pull it all the way out until it ends. Something like that. Okay. And then let's go, I think maybe one more edge loop. Just to help curve it. Okay. And then in our back view, let's grab these edges here. Actually, before we do, let's make the shape of the side. Like that. Let's grab those edges again, Control E. I'm going to pull those up. Let's kind of bring those into the shape as well. Something like that. Okay, so we've got that general kind of shape for the spoiler. We're starting off with our little circle there. So we know that's sitting in the right shape. I'm going to rotate this ever so slightly. Something like that. It looks like it's a lot taller there, but it's looking okay in this view. So we'll go with that for now. Let's grab all those edges, hit Control E. And I'm going to pull them out until they match the kind of width of the whole spoiler there. And before we do anything else, let's bridge across the way here. Actually, one, two, three, four. Okay, so it's going to be a bit awkward here because of that, but we don't actually need, let's just ditch all of this. Don't need any of that. So I'm going to bridge on here. Let's bridge here to here. Okay, and I'm just going to run the lines to kind of match. Okay, so I've got kind of like that block running along there. So we want this edge, this very top edge here, to be obviously the thinnest point. So let's grab this and we'll take this all the way in here. Let's actually delete all of the faces that we just added, because maybe it will be easier to kind of fill that in afterwards. So let's grab all these vertices and bring these in. Something like that. Then we want to make this like side shape here with those. Okay. Okay, I think that's looking pretty neat. So let's grab these side edges this time. Hit Control E. And we'll take these in here. Straighten them off as we go. Now it doesn't matter too much, we'll just try and match that pattern as much as we can, because we will target weld those in a second anyway. That's looking good. Hit Control E again. And again, we're just going to match that roughly. Like so. Let's grab these edges here. Okay. Let's actually get some of these target welds done. Now we want to get these in a position where they're giving us a kind of an extra slope, especially as we get further to the center. And then let's pull these final edges here. Again, roughly into the right spot. And then one last extrusion here, just going to hold X and snap that to the center. And then that means just some final target welds here and here. Get a bit closer. Perfect. because that's given us a nice shape there. And then it means when the time comes we can start to think about making that camera in there as well. And then we don't want this sinking inside here because we do want a little bit of extra contrast. It does lift towards this end, so we'll leave that there as is for now. And we'll bring these portions here up again, just that we're not intersecting. Okay, that's not looking too bad. Let's get this top. It looks like at the top here, kind of sloping up, which we don't want. So let's bring that down level. We kind of want to maintain that same line all the way across. And then here I imagine we'll want that the same. So let's grab each of these. Like that. That's looking pretty good, fairly simplistic. We'll leave that as it is just now. It's looking quite nice. So I think one more episode on working on the base mesh. I think we'll just do a little bit of work down here to the diffuser, get that finished up, all separated off, get this light kind of put in as well. And then once that's done, it's down to separating and start to add even more details. I've had a look at the images in between episodes, and I think here needs a little bit of work. I think there's this is actually the line that attaches the bumper, I believe. Let's just double check just to make sure I'm not telling lies. Yeah, so this is a line here that carries on and actually divides as the bumper. Whereas I think it must actually be here where the section starts, right in the center for this bit. So we will need to probably readjust that soon at some point as well when it comes to actually splitting these up, because it does look like on my reference images that that extra kind of little plastic shrouding stops a lot before this. So it looks like it stops about halfway in between these portions there, so we'll look at that in a future episode too. Alright guys, so what we'll do is we'll end it there. If you like the episode, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Make sure you subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.